Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's session of SaiU Pathways. It's a masterclass series organized by Sai University, designed to help high school students to explore future-ready disciplines and career pathways. Today's masterclass is organized by School of Computing and Data Science, and we are excited to take you into the fascinating world of language and AI. The session is titled "How Machines Learn Human Language from Words to Intelligence." We are very delighted to have with us today Dr. Mrinalini Kannan, who will be leading today's masterclass. Dr. Mrinalini Kannan is an assistant professor at SaiU School of Computing and Data Science with over 9 years of experience in the fields of natural language processing, machine learning, and speech processing. She earned a PhD in 2022 from Anna University, Chennai, and has published extensively in leading international journals and conferences. Her work has appeared in prestigious journals such as IEEE Transactions on Audio, Speech, and Language Processing, and ACM Transactions on Asian and Low Resource Language Information Processing. Prior to joining academia, Dr. Mrinalini served as a senior project officer at the Speech and Language Technologies Lab at a leading institution, where she was also a co-investigator on an industry-funded research project by HCL Technologies. She brings strong industry experience as well, having worked as a principal consultant in natural language processing for an AI startup in Chennai. We are excited to learn from her today, and please join me in welcoming Dr. Mrinalini Kannan. And over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nellai, for the beautiful introduction. So, good morning, students. So, it's really nice that you could join in between your vacation for this masterclass. So, as Nellai mentioned, my area of expertise or area of research is natural language processing, which is a huge paradigm of artificial intelligence. So my research was mainly focused on translation systems for Indian languages, right? So apart from that, I worked on speech projects as well, where I worked on speech recognition systems, speech synthesis systems, and enhancement systems. So these terms might be a little Greek and Latin to you right now, but as and when if you are taking a course in future at SaiU, you will be introduced to all these terms pretty soon, right? Okay, so let's quickly dive into the presentation for the day. Is my screen visible? Hello, Nellai, is my screen visible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, right. So today we'll be talking about how machines actually interpret or learn human language. So, like from the moment you wake up till you go back to sleep, you are directly or indirectly associated with a lot of AI tools, right? Whether it's your phone, where the entire AI world is in the palm of your hand, or if you're watching any OTTs which have AI engines running at the back end to recommend stuff for you. So all those are like direct and indirect usages of AI which we come across on a daily basis, right? So now, how does this system actually view or interpret human language is something very different from how humans learn human language, right? So we'll just see how that what the difference is, and we'll also go through certain examples where we see that AI is like a two-sided coin. So it can be either a boon or a bane, depending on how you guys want to use it, right? It can be a really powerful and useful tool, or it can, like take you towards the bad side, right? So we'll just see how that works as well. So to begin with, yeah. So I have this example which is a very recent newspaper article, which from 2025. So what happens here is the CM of Karnataka, he posted a condolence for Saroja Devi, who is a veteran actor who passed away, right? So he posted a Facebook and Instagram condolence message. You have this auto translate or see translation option in Instagram, right? So when you click that, it got auto translated into English, but the content of the translation was Chief Minister Siddaramaiah passed away yesterday, multilingual star, blah blah blah. Okay, so basically the entire context was swapped. So the chief minister was condoling the death of Saroja Devi, but ended up being dead according to the English translation, right? So this is like a drawback, or this is like what you call as the negative translations in the automatic AI translation that takes place in Meta, as in Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so this is one evident example as recent as 2025. So this shows that we are not in a completely, like perfect place where everything works fine. Okay. So now this is another example, and this is also a very common example where question papers in local languages, they get translated in a wrong way. So in general, in many states, even whether it's NEET exams or any competitive exams, they have the questions in English as well as the local language, right? So suppose you're giving the exam in Tamil Nadu, it's given in Tamil as well as English. If you're giving it in North, it'll be in Hindi and English, right? So what happened in 2023? There's this university in a district in Tamil Nadu where the question, why do people fear failure, was translated into மக்கள் ஏன் பயன்படுகிறார்கள், which means why people are useful for failures. So can you see the difference in the context of the entire question just because of a wrong translation? Right, so these kind of errors are very common when it comes to when people, like, even say, I'm being open. Okay, so we as faculties do use chat gpt or perplexity or any LLM tool or GPT tools to create question papers, but each time we create a question paper, we ensure that the question is genuine and it will lead to a proper solution. We can't ask the system to give me questions on certain topic, and if the question is wrong, obviously the students are not able to write the answer in the exam, right? So those kind of things have to be we should be aware of how we are using the AI tool. So we can't simply translate a question paper, or simply ask the GPT to suggest questions without understanding whether it's genuine or not. Okay, so that is the whole key point of this, right? So similarly, there are many instances where this Google translation or automatic translation of question papers have led to failures, which ultimately led to a lot of confusion when it comes to scoring. Because everyone, like, we know in competitive exams, the marks are like, 0.5, 1 mark or 2 mark differences, which lets you know whether you get the seat or not, right? So these kind of errors might translate into that person losing the seat, right? So this is something which we have to be very careful about when we are using AI tools, right? So now this is an older article. This was like about 5 to 6 years back. What happens is Amazon, Amazon is a tech giant and it's expanded over many parts of the world, right? But they didn't do it overnight. They did it step by step. So when Amazon wanted to introduce its website or its catalog into the Swedish market, they opened their website, and obviously you have auto translate option in Amazon websites as well, right? So what happens here is, instead of using the Swedish flag, for some reason, the Argentina flag was displayed. So, which is a huge error. Obviously, if someone is putting up a post in my country and my country's flag is not there, I might not even look at that page thinking that it's probably in some other language or it's not related to me. So that led to a lot of drawback, a lot of down marketing for Amazon. So it took time for them to revive from that kind of error and come back. Okay, and similarly, if there is a product called Nintendo Switch Games, which is a gaming, like you have this kind of a Switch which is used for gaming, right? But when you're translating to English, what happened? In the Swedish, in the Amazon website, what happened? It converted it into a circuit breaker. So basically, it understood the switch word keyword to be associated with electrical or circuits. So this kind of error led to obviously people not buying it or people not being aware of such a product. So this hit Amazon in a big way, and they took some time, about 5 to 6 months, to revive and create a proper market base in Sweden. And not only Amazon, many tech giants have faced this, right from your eateries like KFCs to sales like Amazon. All of them have faced such issues when they try to use AI tools or depend on AI tools to launch themselves in a new market space. Okay. So these are some examples. This is an example which I personally, had put in Google Translate recently. So this was done in November of 2025. So this is just a random statement I made. Every week, Trump statements create the nation wants to know kind of situation. Okay, so okay, Google did a very good job. It translated this sentence into Tamil and Hindi very effectively, but does it understand the emotion behind this? So, if you guys can access your chat box, can you tell me what this sentiment actually means? That nation wants to know situation. What do I mean by that? Any guesses? I think you can access your chat, right?
Yes, ma'am. So participants, you can answer, ma'am. Probably your chat window will be enabled, so you can write your answers in the chat box. Yeah.
I don't see the chat boxes. One second.
Um,
Is anyone typing? I'm not able to see
no.
this.
Yeah. No. Actually, no one has
Okay.
replied yet. Participants, final call. So if you have, ma'am, if you can repeat the question like what you want, so
Yeah, okay.
probably.
So what do you understand by when I'm saying the nation wants to know, if you guys are into the news channels or something, you might understand what the sentiment means, what this particular phrase means. Any guesses? Okay. So anyway, this is a phrase which is used by the news anchor Arnab Goswami in a daily basis, right? So he puts up some kind of a agenda for the day, has a debate on it, and then questions saying that the nation wants to know, right? So this sentiment we understand because we have seen the news channels or we interpret it in a different way. But the system, as in the Google Translate engine, doesn't know that. It just simply translates the nation wants to know phrase into what the equivalent phrase is in Tamil and Hindi, right? So do you this is kind of a emotional or a contextual example where AI does not understand the emotion behind it, right? So we'll see one more example. So this is a famous meme in Tamil movie, Why Blood, Same Blood. So this is actually a comedy scene. So I recently gave this meme to ChatGPT and asked it, what do you think is the sentiment or the context behind this particular image or this particular meme? Now, if you have seen this comedy, if you're a Tamil movie watcher or things like that, you will know this comedy is being used, circulated on a daily basis in your social media, right? But what did ChatGPT do? ChatGPT read the context, why blood, same blood, as something to do with brotherhood, as in unity, brotherhood, compassion, empathy. It was like more on a serious note rather than on the comedy note for which the meme actually stands. Correct. So, and it also gave me a whole history saying that this is from the movie Basha, which is again wrong information, and the message conveyed is about unity and humanity. So, which is actually got nothing to do with the original comedy or the original meme. Right. So these kind of errors, obviously, the AI model is not expected to know because it has not seen these kind of examples. Right. It has not been trained on a lot of Tamil memes or Tamil comedy such that it can understand, okay, this is a comedy and this person maybe if he sees this Vadivelu, if the chat GPT had been trained on his images, the AI model might have realized that this is a comedian and this is probably a comedy scene. But since all that data has not been fed into the model, it fails and it says that this is about brotherhood, unity, and something on a serious note. Correct? So this is something contextual. Now let's come to this very interesting example. This is so now you know translation is not only related to text. So nowadays people are translating voices or videos or there's subtitling going on a real time basis, everything. So that is also translation. We'll just see how AI gets confused when you're giving a lot of similar words in a context. Okay, just go through this video. Just let me know if the audio is audible. You can hear the audio.
Sure. Actually, we can't, ma'am.
Oh, you can't. Okay,
Yeah.
let
So
me see.
while sharing, there
Yeah,
will be an
share song. Yeah,
yeah
got it.
advanced option. So there, if you can enable audio.
Yeah. Now.
And six. There.
Yes.
Now you can all get out.
How very thoughtful you are, Piglet.
Oh, good grief. Tie them together, Piglet. Can you tie a knot?
I cannot.
Ah, so you cannot.
No, I cannot not.
Not?
Who's there?
Pooh?
Pooh who?
No, Pooh. Piglet, you'll need more than 2 knots.
Not possible.
Ah, so it is possible to knot those pieces.
Not these pieces.
Yes, not those pieces.
Why not?
'Cause it's all for naught.
Oh, dear. I can't tie a knot. Oh, but there is something I can do.
Don't worry, Rabbit. Piglet's very clever.
I can tie a bow.
See?
So do you see the wordplay happening here? So there is something called cannot, which is NOT and KNOT. Then you have NAUGHT, which is also not. So all these different contexts of not, being a human being, maybe without seeing the video or listening to the audio, we ourselves might get confused, right? Just listening to the audio. But when you understand with multimodal input, as in with the audio, with the text, and with the video, we are able to make much more sense than just listening to the text or the audio, right? So imagine this being fed into an AI model, and how do you expect the AI model to understand this difference? So I came across this Capwing software, which is available online. And when I tried to subtitle this entire video in Tamil, this is what you get.
மேலும் 6 அங்கே இப்போது
Kindly ignore the voice. I'm not into dubbing yet, but just the subtitling, okay?
நீங்கள் அனைவரும் வெளியேறலாம். நீ எவ்வளவு சிந்தனை மிக்கவன். ஓ, எவ்வளவு வருத்தம். அவற்றை ஒன்றாக கட்டுங்கள். பன்றிக்குட்டி, முடிச்சு போட முடியுமா? என்னால் முடியாது. நீங்க முடிச்சு போடலாம். இல்லை, என்னால் முடிச்சு போட முடியாது. முடிச்சு இல்லையா? யார் அங்கே? பூ. ஐயோ, யாரு? இல்லை, பூ. பன்றிக்குட்டி, உனக்கு 2 முடிச்சுகளுக்கு மேல் தேவைப்படும். சாத்தியமில்லை. அப்போ அந்த துண்டுகளை முடிச்சு போட முடியுமா? இந்த துண்டுகள் அல்ல. ஆமாம், அந்த துண்டுகள் இல்லை. ஏன் கூடாது? ஏனென்றால் எல்லாம் வீண். ஓ, அங்கே. எனக்கு முடிச்சு போட தெரியாது. ஓ, ஆனால் நான் செய்யக்கூடியது ஒன்று இருக்கிறது.
Okay, so here we saw the word not being repeated around 7 to 8 times in the English video, out of which the translation for Tamil was significantly appropriate in maybe 4 or 5 cases. But it did fail in 2 or 3 cases, right? So that is what I said. So contextual translation is still lagging, or maybe the contextual understanding of the word or the ambiguity of the word is still lagging in recent AI systems, okay? So this is one such example for that. So now, why is this a huge difference between the how humans learn languages and how machines learn languages? Now, as humans, from a very young age, from right when you're a baby, your mothers are teaching you A for apple, B for ball, and you have you have schooling where you're taught reading, writing, and listening, and all these activities are done in a combined way. So you have experience right from your childhood on learning. Then you have your culture. So basically there are certain things that you as like your moms have transferred to you, or you understand better, or you understand certain household phrases better because they have been taught to you culturally, okay? Or locally in your schools, if you're studying in Tamil Nadu, you might be aware of certain things which the people in North Indian schools might not be, right? So then you have your own thoughts. So luckily, as humans, we have the power to think on our own. So based on experiences, we learn, and we convert those learnings into thoughts, and then we project it to the world, right? So those thoughts are also very powerful in how you frame your text or your speech or everything else, right? Then you have your emotion. So emotion behind everything matters a lot, right? If I want to say a sentence, I'm fine, I can say it in multiple emotions. I can say it even if I'm sad, I can just make a face and say I'm fine. So if my best friends talk to me, they'll be able to identify, okay, this girl, though she's saying I'm fine, she's not actually fine. So all those emotions, thoughts, experience translate into speech or text or any thing that comes from us, right? So that is how we learn language. But how do machines learn language? They see numbers, they see patterns, and then they learn the model of it, right? So basically, whatever your text is, if I'm saying I have an apple, the computer doesn't see I as a letter. I is converted into a set of numbers or a vector, right? Then you have vectors for all the alphabets or all the words in English. Okay. Then based on those vectors, it will learn a pattern. As in, okay, after I, there's this vector for have, then there's a vector for an, then there's a vector for apple. So I have an apple. The entire sentence containing 4 words is converted into numbers, which the computer learns using pattern recognition. Then it saves it into their models, and then it gives you the output. If you ask, like if you ask what do you have, it will say I have an apple, right? So this is the key difference between how machines learn language and humans learn language. So basically they only know numbers, they do not know what is behind those numbers, correct? So now we'll just quickly see a timeline of NLP processing. This might be a little too technical for you, but it's absolutely fine if you don't understand. Just I'll make it as simple as possible. So the NLP processing basically began with rule-based systems. So what do you mean by rule-based systems? So now during World War, for example, there's a world war between US and Germany, and everything is happening. German, Japan, all the countries are involved. So if I'm a spy and I have a coded message, a Morse coded message. So this thing, right? You know this. It's a Morse code. So each letter has a specific pattern which should be written in the paper, or however you're sending the messages, or coded in the no the wire system, and then it is sent to the enemy side, and then your spy there or someone wants to read it, right? So basically what is happening here, you have set of letters, you have a mapping to the dictionary. It's like a dictionary. So you have the letters, you have what the letters stand for. Using those patterns, you encode it, right? Similarly, your English dictionary is also a kind of a coding. Basically, you have words, you have what they mean. So you pick up these words and then join it to make sentences. But obviously, it does not reflect in a proper way, because if I want to translate certain things into suppose I have a sentence, I have an apple and I love eating apple. So this sentence, when I translate it into Hindi or Tamil, it might not be word to word translation, right? So it might be, there might be some words that do not have a translation in Hindi or Tamil. So in those cases, what do? I have to discard that word. But the machines do not understand this. They'll keep looking for the word mapping, right? So this is why rule-based systems are very primitive in nature. They are very, very hand-driven, as in we humans have to sit and write rules saying that if this word comes, this is the meaning. If this word comes in this position, then this is the meaning, and all those things. So imagine the amount of workload you have to do to get such systems into action, right? So this is something which we do not use in recent times, but we use rules to improve the existing models. Okay, that can be done, but we don't solely rely on rules to perform tasks. Okay. Then we have statistics. So as I said, what does computer see? It sees numbers, patterns, and then it models it. So statistics is basically probability. So there's this classic example which my supervisor used to say. So now suppose I have a sentence, I am a girl, or I have an apple. So the probability of the word I being followed by the word am, have, or has is more than the probability of I being followed by is. Can you think of any sentences where the word I or the letter I is followed by is in English? You can write your answers in the chat box. Okay, so I don't see any responses. Okay, anyway, so I is the 9th letter of English alphabet. I could think only of this example, right? So the probability of the word I being followed by the word is very less. Okay, so these kind of statistics, as in the probability of what word follows what, all these probabilities is what the system learns when you give lot of examples. Now, again, rule-based systems, I can say that it has this code. or apple means this. So that is just a single example I have to give, and the system will immediately learn. But in statistics, I have to give a lot of examples so that the system itself learns what is the probability, or what is the word meaning when it comes in this context, etc. Okay. So these statistical and neural based system, which is the latest buzzword, they are all data driven models. Okay. So now neural based systems is you can call this as the extended version of statistical systems. So statistical systems, they do fail sometimes because of data driven the hungry nature of the models. But neural based systems, they learn much intuitively using, so basically neural based system, they try to mimic how human learn. Okay. So they assume that there's a neuron, there's a network, and then the weights from one neuron is passed to another, which is like the signal in human brain. Then those signals are interpreted to form a sentence or a word or learning, right? So this is what we are trying to mimic in neural based systems, but we are still not there. Okay. So we still have to do a lot of work. So I'm just going to skip this technicality for now, so that it's not very heavy for you guys. So yeah, as I mentioned, so I have this sentence phrase, I love biryani. So I love biryani are 3 words, right? Now these 3 words are converted into vectors. Okay. So they'll be, I will have a vector, love will have a vector, biryani will have a vector. Now there are sometimes cases where instead of taking the whole word, I take a subword and then learn it. For example, learning is a verb, right? So learn is the root word and ing is the suffix, correct? So these kind of differences can also be embedded into the system, okay, using statistics, right? So this is the example of the vectors I talked about. So you have a series of words, but the computer will convert those series of words into vectors. So if I have cat, this is a vector for cat. If I have meow, that has a vector. Soap, it has a vector. Okay. Now the interesting part is when you have a lot of these words and their vectors, the system can combine or pool these vectors according to their similarities. For example, when you project this in a vector space, so this is what we call as the vector space, right? So when you put this in a vector space, cat, meow, and soap, cat and meow will lie close to each other because they're related, and soap will lie somewhere far away because it's not related to cat and meow, right? So these kind of patterns is what the system learns. So imagine this kind of pattern learning across a huge amount of data. So you need that much amount of data for the system to understand the patterns and learn it in order to learn the human language ultimately, right? So now, I'm pretty sure that ChatGPT is used by all of you to do your assignments, or to answer certain questions or do some calculations. But do you think ChatGPT actually does it for you? For example, if you ask ChatGPT to do a math, like for example, if you say do 2 plus 2, it'll give you the answer 4. But actually it doesn't do the calculation. It doesn't do like 2 plus 2, after 2 comes 3, 4. It doesn't do that. It does 2 plus 2 and gives 4 as the answer because it has been it has learned that particular data based on the data it has. Okay. Now, if I suppose the chat GPT has never seen 2 divided by 2. Okay. It does not know division, as in it's not been trained using division data. So then it will not give you an answer, or it will give you a wrong answer. So basically, it does not do calculation as we humans or as the calculator does. Okay. So the way ChatGPT or any LLM model does calculation is based only on what data it has seen or what data it has been trained on. It does not do real-time calculation for you. Okay. So please do not rely on ChatGPT blindly. Even if it gives you an answer, check if it is genuine or not before you use it. Okay. And similarly, one more key difference is humans learn things quickly than machines. Okay. Suppose there's a hot pot kept in the kitchen and I'm just going and touching it. The minute I touch it and my hand is burnt, next time when I go to the kitchen, I'll think twice before I touch the pot, right? Because I know that previous time I touched it, it was hot and I got burnt. But the machines, they are not satisfied with one example. Even if they touch that pot, they'll keep touching it at least for 5 times before they learn the 6th time that it is hot. So you see how humans learn quickly and machines don't. So imagine the amount of work or amount of data or the amount of time it requires for the machine to learn human language. Okay. So now with each generation, as in from rule based till neural based, we have improved a lot. Definitely we have improved a lot, but we are not there yet. As we saw all the examples in the previous slides, we do lag a lot, especially in terms of understanding sarcasm or cultural expressions, or when there's an ambiguity, the AI tools lack a lot. For example, if I say, call me a cab, and I'm having a conversation with ChatGPT, the ChatGPT will initially think, okay, she's asking me to call a cab. That means, is she renaming herself as a cab, or is she asking me to call a taxi? Okay, so that kind of a difference, the ChatGPT takes time to understand. Similarly, if I say I'm okay, now this is not only ChatGPT's problem, this is everyone's problem. For example, I'm saying I'm okay to my friend. Unless I put this emoji, he might not understand if I'm really okay, or if she's just faking it, or if she's going through something and she's not telling me. So this particular emoji helped my friend understand better that I'm okay, but there's something that's bothering me, right? So this kind of ambiguity, when when we as humans ourselves are dealing with, imagine the plight of AI, right? Then similarly, if you have idioms like break a leg. So break a leg in English means go rock, or go do well, something like that, and then in a positive sense. But when you translate it into Hindi or Tamil, it translates into kala odakkum, which means don't break your leg, as in like in the negative sense. So the positive note of break a leg has been converted into a negative note when you translate it as it is. Okay, so you need to find an alternate translation, and this we struggle as humans ourselves. So imagine how the AI will deal with this. Okay. Now, similarly, when you have cultural expressions like Kumbh Mela mein kho gaye ho kya, which means why you lost in the fair. When you say that, it actually means why are you late. It's another way of saying that why are you late, what took you so long, things like that. So these kind of embedded or implicit meaning cannot be understood by AI as such as of now. So we are working on aspect based emotion recognition. So that is something that is very latest in the field of NLP research. So all this drawbacks of NLP or the AI tools currently are being worked on currently. So hopefully, maybe in another 15-20 years or longer, we'll be able to achieve a human level understanding AI tool. Okay, so that is where we stand. So what do you think are the solutions to improve the current AI system? One is quality data. So now we know that every data that is fed into the chat GPT, it will help the chat GPT to learn better. For example, when you try to have a conversation with chat GPT, and if you say, no, I don't agree with you, what you're saying is wrong. Have you noticed that chat GPT says, yes, okay, I'm sorry, I am wrong, I'll rectify it next time. So basically, it is open to learning whatever you feed it. So if you feed in wrong things, it's going to learn wrong things. If you're going to feed quality data, it's going to learn quality information, right? So what you feed in is what you get out. So make sure when you're training an NLP model, or when you're building an NLP model, the quality data is fed in for training. Okay. Then context, as we talked about, context, ambiguity, everything matters. And all those information should also be given to the chat GPT or AI models to train. Okay, then comes the cues. So cues is not only a single model. As we saw, we have multiple cues, as in we have video, audio, text, and many other things, printed documents, many other inputs that can be used to help the system understand things better contextually, right? So these are some of the viable solutions which can be taken forward and done to improve the existing models. So I think that brings us to the end of the talk. So I've mentioned a lot of keywords or a lot of technical words in this. But if you're doing a course in SaiU under the School of Computing and Data Science, you will be made aware of many of these terms, and you'll also get a chance to work on many of the projects I mentioned. As in, you'll be trained to work on certain small projects in each module of your course. So it'll give you a real time or hands-on experience on whatever I talked about right now. So I think that's it I have from my side. So if you guys have any questions, please put it on the chat box, or you can convey it to Nellai and he'll translate it to me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful and interesting session with all the case studies and stuff. So, and students, now it's time for questions. So you can very well post in the chat box, or you'll have Q&A section where you can very well write it. We'll start with a couple of questions, ma'am, at the registration level. So the first question is, I think, so do social media platforms use a common translation API, or do they develop their own translation models, especially in YouTube, Meta, and X? That's what the question. It's from
Right.
Hitesh. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, these tech giants are different companies. So they have their own research team working on it. So Meta has a separate translation model. Twitter or X has a separate translation model, which is led by Elon Musk. Then you have your YouTube. So each tech giant has their own translation model, but the technology behind it. So now the latest, as I mentioned, neural-based models are being used, right? So the technology behind it is similar, but the models are very different, as in the systems are very different. So that's why you see a difference in quality also. Maybe the Twitter translation engine, the translation given by Twitter is little more weaker than Meta, I believe. So I don't know. In my personal experience, I might be wrong. But yeah, the quality difference indicates that there are different engines or different models that are being used by each of these giants. Right.
Perfect, ma'am. Thank you. And we have one more question. So the question is, will this topic be covered if I choose BTech Data Science as my major in 2026? So what will be the course topics be like?
Right. So this, whatever we talked about today, as in the LLMs and chat GPTs and AI, they all come under the natural language processing course, which is part of your data science BTech program. So that is actually an elective subject. So people who are taking computer science as major can also do this subject. So that will come, I think, in your sixth or seventh semester. So NLP is a course which is there in the curriculum. Apart from that, there are other courses like data engineering. So data engineering will help you to know whatever I said, the data, how powerful data is. It will give you an understanding on that. Then you also have courses towards the end of your fourth year where the ML ops, as in the real time production pipeline of your entire NLP pipeline, will be taught to you. So all this comes, the entire presentation which we had today is broken down into multiple courses across your 4-year BTech, right? And we have the best faculties for that, I can assure you for that.
Yeah, great. Thank you, ma'am. There's one more question from a student. So the question is, I'm planning to major in BBA, but I'm in very much interested in pursuing data science as a minor or audit courses or topics like this. How we can opt these courses? What are the ways and how it will be?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, one key selling point for Sai University is that you can frame your own curriculum for your during your course, right? So even if you're a BBA major, we do have options for doing minor in data science or minor in AI. So if you are interested in this particular course, you can approach and see if this particular course is applicable in the minor part. Because see, for NLP, the base is machine learning, and you need mathematics for that as well. So there might be some courses which are not accessible to you unless you do the prerequisite machine learning course. So only if you decide on like what your major is, then depending on the minor, we'll have a course list which are available. As in, if NLP is part of that, you can very well take NLP as a credit course or an audit course, or just attend few lectures for your choice.